So I wanted to bring up something that's really difficult to cover in 5 minutes or so, but this is probably one of the biggest human conditions. For me, it's one of the most difficult things to battle, and as Americans, I think we're particularly challenged with this. It's the subject of non-attachment and detaching and letting go. If you haven't figured out by now, I borrow a lot of Buddhist philosophies and principles, and that kind of run around in my head that I apply to my exercise regime and kind of my spiritual background to the whole exercise thing. So I wanted to present a few different ideas on where attachment and non-attachment and letting go really play out in exercise. The first is kind of just limiting the ideas of who we are. We think that, this goes back to the roles and labels, basically, that we talked about before. We think that we're an athlete, so we expect that of ourselves, and we're not willing to meet ourselves where we are. Or we think that we're overweight, and we're not allowing ourselves to detach from that, that role and that position in our life. And really, what that gets down to is the attachment to comfort. And, there's the comfort of the labels that we have. There's also, they talk about shocking your muscles and, delivering different types of workouts or, very dynamic workouts. And a lot of people, whether they've been working out for, weeks or years, are stuck on the same exact routine all the time based off of comfort. And they're not willing to do anything outside that comfort zone. They're attached to the way that things are now. And to let go of that and allow diversity and dynamicism to into your workout routine can provide excellent results. Also, a lot of us won't do things that intimidate us because we're so attached to that comfort. So rather than trying that new lift that you may feel like you're physically awkward, and that particular lift presents a real challenge for you in your ability to move your body, so you never touch that lift. But maybe that lift is exactly what you need if you were able to get past the discomfort point to really accelerate your gains in whether it be your athleticism, your strength, your endurance, or your weight. So that covers the exercise part of it. But not only that, the food and nutrition as well. We're very used to what we eat, and again, we're attached to certain foods. Maybe you have a sugar addiction, or you're always eating a certain way, whether it be, the way you prepare them. Maybe you go and buy fast food, maybe you order out all the time. Maybe you have like your 3 meals that you can make really quick for yourself and or your family, and you stick to those because they're what you're used to, and they're quick, and they're easy, but maybe those are the exact foods that are getting in your way. A lot of people have their comfort of their lifestyle with their food. A lot of people come in and we do some nutritional counseling, and one of the things I quickly realize is that it's going to be a real barrier for them to step out of their regular comfort zone. You listening, puppy? To step out of their comfort zone and really see what else they can do and the different way that they'll have to work in their foods. Like some people will cook on the fly all day or pick up things on the way, and it's the paradigm shift and detaching from what you're used to in that comfort, and instead being proactive about your diet and thinking ahead and having things ready and cooking what you need rather than either what you desire and you're attached to, or cooking out of a comfort that you're attached to. Also, our goals, on a very different level. Our goals can be very motivating, and by all means, I'm all about goals, but you can have these goals that, maybe don't fit you quite well, or maybe, you have different goals that you should meet before you're able to meet that plateau of goal. And a lot of people will attach to these goals, and either the goal will be the incorrect goal, so you'll have a lot of suffering, or, you just, your goal can maybe not be within the realm of what will help you. So maybe the goal is ill-willed. Ill-willed meaning you're asking yourself of something that actually is not healthy for you and does not add to your wellness. Or B, you're attaching yourself to a goal that is outside your real limits. Or you're back in your comfort zone and your goals are so small that they'll never really achieve, or they're very vague, and you're really attached to the comfort of evading, giving yourself a quantitative measure on your goal, and also the body itself. This, I don't know, if a lot of people can relate with me on this, but I know for me, this is probably the big one for me. I've been working out since I was 12 in actual, strength training and stuff. So for me, that's a long time in my life that I've been lifting weights and kind of have developed this body identity about myself. And for me to detach from that, both how people see me and how I relate with the world, and also kind of my body as a possession or an asset, so to speak, and I've actually done a lot of work with that, and I've had a lot of like touch and go kind of paradigm shift with that. Like sometimes I just want to lose my physique because I feel like it's a mask or a front that I interact with the world through, or it at least presents that way, or can filter that way. And then on the other hand, it's kind of like, it's what I do. I mean, it's my profession, and it's what I'm passionate about. So there's that combination for me. And really the only thing that separates it being a healthy thought or healthy asset for me versus a liability that can be kind of destructive is simply how attached I am to it. If I identify myself as this body and really load it up with some pressure to maintain this body or to improve this body and have this certain image, it can become very burdensome versus, letting it go and kind of, enjoying it as it is. That can be a very different feel. So I'm just going to leave you with some quotes. I like this one by William Blake. It's, "He who binds himself to a joy does the winged life destroy. He who kisses a joy as it flies lives in eternity's sunrise." I think that's very cool. You can think about that for a second. But the easier version that people tend to like a little more, I think, is "Let go or else you'll get dragged." That one's pretty good too. But think about attachment and where it sits in your life and where it gets in the way of your fitness, Hope I didn't get too deep on you, but there's something to think about. I hope you guys have a great week. I'm going to try to get back with you next week on YouTube again, okay? So Scott Sioka from Body Express, thanks for listening. You guys take care.